What the fuck did I just watch? I I, I don't even want to call this a movie. This isn't a movie. This is fucking pointless. There's no plot. There's no story. There's no characters. There's no nothing. This might as well be a blank fucking tape. I understand the point of this film. It's supposed to be a simulated snuff film. Like if you found some DVD-R in some abandoned house somewhere and you played it and this is what you saw. I understand that. It's the whole movies of some fucked up serial killers. Alright, I get the point. But the thing is, that's not a film. It's a waste of celluloid. It's a waste of film. It's a waste of your time because it's fucking pointless. It's not disturbing or scary to me because there's no story. There's no characters. There's no one to root for. There's no one to care about. There's also the villains. There's no reason to care about them either. I know it's fake, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to stumble across this and think it's real. No. What is the point of a fake snuff film? There is no point to this. Or this entire trilogy of movies. I'm not watching the sequels. August Underground Mordrum and August Underground Penance. I don't want to fucking sit through those. And I only sat through this one because I wanted to do a video about it because it was sent to me by a YouTuber named D. Roca, who sent me this as well as the sequels and a few other movies. And I'll review Spawn for him because he sent me Spawn, the 1997 film on Blu-ray. But I'm just if I was ever to do reviews of the sequels, it'd have to be way, way, way down the road because I have no desire to watch those anytime soon. Of course, the film I'm talking about is August Underground, which is a movie that's so fucking shitty and boring that I wanted to curb stomp it into pieces and bury it underground. Anyway, August Underground is I don't even want to call this a movie. Like I said, it's just a fucking fake snuff film. Might as well just be a blank tape. It's a 2001 film that is written by Fred Vogel and Alan Peters, who also are the stars of the film, and Fred Vogel also directs the movie. He plays Peter, who's this fat fuck who goes around grabbing people, killing hookers, tying people up in his basement, torturing them, and so on. Then he has his friend, Fuckface, who's just doesn't even have a name. He's just a man behind the camera who cannot stop giggling for 5 fucking seconds. It seems like every fucking second this chucklehead is fucking giggling. He's like I wanted to rip his fucking throat out so he couldn't giggle anymore. Dalton style. What the fuck? So annoying. The most sickening thing about this film, the most disturbing and most unnerving thing about this movie was how annoying it was. How annoying and obnoxious these two twats who were pretty much the main characters of this movie. If you I even want to call them characters, they have no characterization whatsoever. They're just fat fuck and fuck face. This movie should have just been called The Misadventures of Fat Fuck and Fuckface. That's really what it is. You see, I've seen films that have some really intense subject matter in them, like Maniac or Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. In fact, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer I like, and I think is a great movie. This just didn't shock me. This is just shock value for shock value's sake. And it wasn't even that gory. I've heard things like, it's gory, it's so bloody. There's this woman who's tied up, one of her nipples is cut off, but it's after the fact. She's tied to a chair, covered in her own shit, and it's obviously not even real shit. I mean, it looks like melted candy bars or something. It's not fucking real. Uh, and she's just covered in blood. And every once in a while, you'll see what obviously looks like a rubber foot or something getting cut off a corpse or whatever. I heard people give praise to these special effects. To each their own. I mean, that's fine if you think they're good, and it's fine if you like the movie. I don't have a problem with that. I definitely don't like this movie. I fucking hated it. This is the worst film I've ever seen. This is the worst horror movie I've ever seen. Extreme horror. This is one of the fine examples of extreme horror films, right? More like extreme horrible horror films. Because this is an extremely horrible horror film. Because there's no character development, there's no plot, there's no story. There's no point. It's fucking pointless. And any of its shock value, any of its depravity, any of its moments where it tries to make you puke or make you feel uneasy, fail miserably because there's no story. There's no reason to give a shit about any of this. Oh, but it's not meant to have a story. It's like a snuff film. What the fuck? Why the fuck would I want to? Why would fucking anybody want to sit down and watch a snuff film? I'm just saying. You know. God. So yeah, the plot. There isn't a plot, but it's just. I'll just go with a rundown of the sequences. Um, it's presented as a severely degraded home movie, aka shot on shitio. It's shot on shitio. It looks like shit. Shot with a fucking hand camcorder, and it looks awful. And probably was shot that way to cover up the absolutely super low budget, which I guess it cost $2,000 to make. Where did the $2,000 go to? This looks like it cost $50 or less than that. It looks like it cost. Oh, where did the $2,000 go? Into the director's pockets, so we can go spend it all at the all-you-can-eat buffet. Anyway, this guy, yeah, he's a fat piece of shit, and he's supposed to be this overpowering presence throughout this movie, and I don't fucking buy it. This guy looks like he'd get winded getting off the fucking couch. Anyway, so it opens up with Peter inviting his friend, what I like to call Fuckface, or Chucklehead, because he keeps fucking giggling, into his basement, where he's holding a woman named Laura captive. Having already killed her boyfriend, Michael, whose castrated body has been left in a bathtub to rot. Peter is keeping Laura alive so he and his accomplice can torture her at their leisure, committing sadistic acts such as slicing off one of her nipples off, which you don't see happen. It was already sliced off, and covering her in feces and urine. There's even a scene where one of the cameraman guys like, "Oh man, it smells like shit." I'm like, you must be getting a whiff of your own fucking movie. Yeah, because your movie is shit. And that's where the smell is coming from. That's where the stench is permeating from. It's from this piece of fucking shit movie. That's where it's coming from. God. Cannibal Terror, you're no longer the worst horror film I've ever seen. This takes the cake. This is the king of the shit pile. I don't think it could get any worse than this. I really don't. So then it's just random scenes. That's all this is. Random scenes. It's just shitty home movies of really boring, annoying, obnoxious killers who are just caricatures. They're over-the-top caricatures of what you would think a psychopath is. But they act in ways that's just completely, totally unrealistic for any of these type of psychopaths. And I guess they kill people somewhere in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania or some shit. And I'm like, really? Nobody can catch on to these guys? That they have 2 rotting corpses in their basement? You know, you could probably smell that from the neighbor's house. Could probably smell what's going, smell it. Or the cops should know something's going on. I mean, these guys go in and try to kill people in broad daylight in public places. But no, we don't have time. There's none of that because, the filmmakers and the writers didn't even bother to write a story, let alone make a movie. So then next they're shown picking up a female hitchhiker whom Peter coerces into performing oral sex on him. But before that, he's like, show us, the guy behind the camera is like, show us your tits. Show us your tits. I'll pay you $20 if you show us the tits. Oh, come on, give me a better look than that. Yeah, they are fucking despicable pieces of shit. They do portray these killers as despicable pieces of shit, but, who wants to watch that? I don't want to watch killers who are just despicable pieces of shit. What the fuck is the point of that? I mean, yeah, Henry is technically a despicable piece of shit, but at least it's done in a way that, I take that back. I can watch a movie that has killers who are despicable pieces of shit, but as long as it's competently made. This is amateurish beyond belief. This is so amateurish and so puerile in its approach that it's fucking laughable. It really is. So he tries to get her to suck his dick, he climaxes, and then he tries to beat her, and it's so bad because you can clearly see that his punches aren't landing. It looks like a really shitty wrestling match. The punches are not landing at all. So he beats her, leaves her for dead on the side of the road, and then they return back to Laura, and then they force feed her one of her now dismembered boyfriend's toes, and then they attend a concert, which looks like it's at their fucking high school or some shit, with Limp Bizkit. Well, I mean, more like Burnt Biscuit, or it's just some really shitty rap metal band, and the sound is so fucking atrocious you can't hear shit. You wouldn't want to anyway, because it sounds like shit. And then the fat fuck and fuck face get all rowdy at the concert, where it looks like there's 5 people there attending it, and then they get kicked out. Then they visit a farm, and we literally see a bull's balls. Yeah, bull balls. Just giant bull testicles right in your face. And I'm just like, oh my god, this movie is sweat from a bull's taint. So yeah, that's what you need, a lovely image. To see just a bull's fucking giant hanging extended testicles. Then they go in, it's just, what's the point of this shit? This is so fucking bad. See bull balls. Then there's a tour of a slaughterhouse where this guy's it looks like Fat Fuck is applying for a job there, but apparently not. They just got a tour of the slaughterhouse where the guy's explaining to them what you do in a slaughterhouse. This is so scintillating. This is so boring. So then they go to a cemetery, pontificate about shit that really trying to be deep, but has all the impact of a drunken frat boy ramble. That's really what these guys remind me of. They remind me of drunken frat boys rather than actually really scary, intimidating killers. So they pontificate in the graveyard, and then they go and murder some old lady, and then they ransack her place, and then they go in and harass this convenience store clerk in a scene that goes on for fucking forever. And this is the moment where I started fast forwarding the film. I was like, this isn't going anywhere. I'm not going to miss anything. So there's no reason I have to sit here and watch the rest of this shit. I get to the moment, so they harass this convenience store clerk for feels like fucking 20 minutes, and it gets to the scene where they stab this convenience store clerk, they kill the guy, because they keep going back and forth to the same convenience store. The fat fuck is stealing chips, shoving his chips into his fat fucking face. The convenience store clerk is like, hey, you gonna pay for that? He's like, no. You have giggle fuck over there, and Mr. Fuckface giggling. He didn't do anything, man. What do you want, man? You fucking did that, man. I wanted to kill these guys myself. I really did. I wanted to jump in to the screen and beat them to a fucking pulp. Beat them to pieces with a fucking monkey wrench or a crowbar or both. Anyway, They then go in and ask this poor couple to sniff each other's asses. Yeah. Sniff his ass! Sniff his ass, bitch! There's no subtlety here. It's not scary to me or unnerving or disturbing if you have zero sense of subtlety. You have all the subtlety of a hammer to the face. I mean, it just really... Just, do you know how horror works? Do you know how to actually shock people? You don't do it by just being as over the top as possible. That's not how that works. That's not how you shock somebody. That's not how you unnerve somebody. The independent film Fun, which is a 1994 movie that is loosely based on a true story where these two girls go on a killing spree inexplicably because they kill some people and they have fun doing it. That's more unnerving and disturbing and scary to me than August Underground. And it doesn't have as much swearing, it doesn't have as much rape, it doesn't have as much shit and piss, it doesn't have as much torture, it doesn't have as much ass sniffing, because it didn't need to go that far, because going that far is just fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be scared of a guy making people sniff each other's asses? Sniff his ass! I'm just like, sniff my ass! Why don't you take a long, hard whiff of my ass, August Underground? Please, and I hope you keel over and die. So, yeah, I started fast forwarding there because this scene was going on forever. So they eventually harass this convenience store clerk. They torment the Paris shoppers, make them sniff their own asses. They then kill the other two. They were going to, but then they hear police sirens, so then they head off. And then it cuts to them touring roadside America, some miniature town. I'm just, why the fuck is this? This is not a movie. This is just shitty home movies. It's like you sat me down, tied me up in a chair, and forced me to watch two of the most obnoxious fucking annoying twats who also happen to be serial killers home movies. So then they visit a tattoo parlor, which I guess is also a comic book shop. We get to see Fat Fuck get a tattoo. Great. Because that's so... I totally needed to see that. It's very important. And then after the tattoo artist finishes giving Peter a tattoo, he and his twin brother are captured by Peter and the cameraman. And there's only two people, and you have this fat fuck who, like I said, I don't buy being some unstoppable behemoth of a badass who nobody can outwit and nobody can outmuscle. It looks like the only exercise he gets is lifting the potato chip bag up closer to his fucking face so he can stuff more chips into his mouth. Or walking to the microwave so we can microwave some more fried chicken, or go into the freezer and take out some more Hungry Man dinners and microwave those so we can stuff his fat fucking face with them. Really, I don't fucking buy that this guy is so unstoppable. And his cameraman guy, you never see what he looks like, as far as I know. I mean, this is as unbelievable as it would be if I decided to make a movie starring me and I'm overpowering everybody. Give me a fucking break. I ain't overpowering shit. I'm gonna even admit it. I ain't overpowering anybody. My fucking skinny ass will get tossed around like a rag doll. But anyway, they take these two guys to their basement, where apparently I guess the girl was either dead or they just fucking stopped torturing. I don't know what happens with her. Laura's just gone out of the picture because they just got these two twin brothers who worked at the tattoo parlor now to torture and fuck with. And it just goes on forever. And it's just not even... There's nothing cinematic about this film. It's just shot on shitio with some of the shittiest direction you'll ever see. Shaky cam. That's so bad that you swear to God the director has Parkinson's. You're like, just, man, I know, hey, you got an affliction. It sucks. but you shouldn't be directing movies. I'm sorry. And they torture these guys. They cut off one of the guy's legs with a meat cleaver. They finish the one guy up by bludgeoning him with a hammer, which I'm like, okay, if I want to see that, I'll watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's another film that's scarier and more unnerving than this, and it isn't even nearly as bloody, or as violent, or as vile. So then his brother shares the same fate, so the two brothers get killed in the most blasé, just forgettable fucking way imaginable. Then the two are shown at home doing drugs with a pair of prostitutes, and the cameraman goes upstairs to have sex with one, and this just turns into a porno with just the most unattractive women you will ever see. You don't want to see these women naked. I mean, I was afraid I was going to get an STD just watching these women fuck. I mean, really, it's that bad. And if I repeated myself because I said that joke earlier, I fucking mean it. It really is that bad. I don't want to see these women naked. I don't want to see these women fuck. Put your clothes back on. I don't want to see fat fuck either. I want to see him fuck off. That's what I want to see. I want to see him fuck. This is just, I fast forwarded through this shit because it literally is just a porno. That's all it is, with fat fuck and fuck face and a bunch of ugly ass fucking bitches. Great. Crack whores and fucking fat fuck and fuck face. I wanted to feed them some super crack, all of them, so they'd fucking explode. End my misery. So, no. The cameraman finds Peter in the basement, sodomite, raping the other prostitute while beating her with a hammer. And then the other prostitute, she realizes what's happening to her friend, and so she tries to escape, but then the camera is dropped, and then it cuts off. And then there's dead silence as the credits roll. And that's August Underground. This film, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it can sniff my ass, it can lick my taint, and I would like to shove a giant stick of C4 up its ass and then have it explode with such force that it sends the movie straight into space and onto the moon, never to be seen again by human eyes ever, because it is that fucking atrocious. And it's not one of those films that, oh, I didn't like it because of the subject material. Oh, it's sick. It's depraved. I saw American Mary. That's pretty sick and twisted, and I liked that. So, it's not because it's sick and twisted. It's not because it has questionable subject material. That's not why I don't like this movie. That's not, really, I hate this movie. That's not why I hate this movie. I hate this movie because it's fucking pointless. It's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste of resources. I wouldn't even wipe my ass with this movie. That's how bad this film is. I think toilet paper has more worth to me than August Underground. I wouldn't take a piss on this movie because my toilet has more worth than August Underground does. It was just, the only thing that shocked me really the most was how fucking bad this was and how boring it is. For a movie that's considered so controversial and so shocking and so intense, I honestly thought it was going to be gorier. I thought it was going to have more blood and more violence and more carnage, but it's kind of tame in that way. It really is. There's just people tied up, they're covered in blood. Maybe you'll see some fake looking body parts get cut up or tossed around. It's really about it. There's not much in terms of that category, in terms of the gore. There's no ingenuity there. And there's just not much to this film, period. It's not a film. It's a simulated snuff film. And it's a badly simulated snuff film at that. So, because you can tell it's fake. It's not real. And what's the point of making a fucking fake snuff film anyway? There isn't a point. Because what you get is a movie that is so boring that it hurts to watch. That I could not watch it in one sitting. I had to fast forward through the whole last half. I couldn't watch the rest of it. And I've never done that, folks. I've never done that with any of these other horror films that I've ranted on and I've raved on and I've torn apart in the past. Even some of these more recent movies that aren't horror, like Terminator Genesis or Ghostbusters, the reboot, or RoboCop. I've never fast forwarded through any of them. But I did with this movie. And that's one hell of a first. And when a film is that fucking bad that I end up fast forwarding through it, here's a golf clap. I'm going to give you a round of applause for being the biggest pile of shit that I've ever seen. So, yeah, I really don't know what else to say about August Underground, except if it's a rated out of 5 stars. I'm not, fuck, this doesn't get anything. This gets, it gets 2 middle fingers. Fuck you, movie, for wasting my time and being not only annoying but boring. Those are two things that should never be combined while you're watching a movie. It's supposed to be shocking and disturbing and scary. Ooh. Fat fuck is trying to force somebody to sniff somebody's ass. Oh, that's so fucking terrifying. I can't. My blood is curdling right now thinking about it. No, I'm fucking laughing. Sniff his ass. It's just like, what, you bitch, sniff his ass. It's just like, oh my god. Oh. Anyway, yeah, fuck this movie. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. See ya.